Longtime Tennessee Democratic Congressman Jim Cooper announcing that he won't be running for re-election. Cooper currently represents the state's 5th congressional district, which covers the city of Nashville. And I want you to look at this. This is a newly proposed Tennessee congressional map from the state assembly, led by Republicans. You can see that the new 5th district looks nothing like it does right now. It's new borders extending into more rural and red areas of the state. Congressman Cooper joins me now. Congressman, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us and speaking to us about this. You're not running for office again. Explain how Republicans in your state essentially made this choice for you.
Well, thank you, Don. Great to be with you. Republicans in the legislature have sabotaged one of the greatest cities in America, Nashville, Tennessee. They've done this by gerrymandering our city, something that hadn't been done in all of our 230-year history. And if anyone still doubts that Republicans are attacking voters' rights, look at this gerrymandering. And I hope and pray this isn't being done all over the country, but I'm afraid it is. But Nashville could be the worst example. Because this city is the home of Andrew Jackson, one of the founders of the Democratic Party. We've been Democratic forever, and now they have pie-sliced it, so it'll be dominated by rural Republican legislators, and Nashville will no longer have a real strong voice in Washington, D.C.
Wow. I got to tell people, you first served in Congress in the early 80s to the mid-90s. Then you took a break and you got reelected again in 2002. You've been in House since then. Clearly, there's support for Democratic representation there, for a Democratic representative from Nashville. Are state lawmakers manipulating the will of the people by changing this map? Because I don't think the people really want this, do they?
Well, at least 40% of Tennesseans don't. And right now, the Republican legislature is only giving voice to about 11% of Tennessee, those Democrats. So 29% of Tennessee Democrats are being disenfranchised by this map. Minority communities in Nashville are being devastated. They're literally being cut to a third of their normal size.
Wow.
Nashvillians will go from being a priority in the eyes of the congressperson to being an afterthought. And that's a real tragedy for all the citizens of Nashville, regardless of race or ethnicity.
Yeah. Listen, it's just so egregious. I have to continue to put up these maps so that people can see exactly what's happening. This is a proposed map. It chops up Davidson County, where Nashville is. What does it mean for Democratic voters whose votes will now be diluted in 3 different districts?
Well, Republicans already have a 7-2 majority in the 9-member Tennessee delegation. They're trying to make it 8-1. It looks like they're going to succeed, and only Memphis will be a Democratic stronghold in Tennessee. When we have Democratic voters spread throughout the state, especially in Nashville, so what it's going to do is render us mute. And that's a tragedy, because we do not want to discourage voting. We want to encourage voting by all of our people. And Democrats will come back one day due to these Republican abuses, this Republican greed, because really what they're doing to Nashville is they're colonizing it. They're tearing us apart. They're cutting us in little pieces. They're allowing rural counties and respective communities like Clarksville, Cookeville, Columbia to dominate Nashville. But Nashville is one of the hottest cities in America for tourists, for business, because it's Nashville. It's that special blend of magic that we've got here and music, and that's what makes us special. And Republicans can't stand that, apparently.
Yeah, but it's also, before that, I was there pre-pandemic, just before the pandemic, and Nashville was very diverse. As you said, the tourism industry was exploding there. The nightlife was amazing. The downtown, the rehabilitation and so on, just great. But I was really struck by the diversity, especially in the music industry. People were looking to move to Nashville. I hope that does continue, but we'll see. Do you think that will continue?
Well, I hope and pray it will continue. The Republican National Committee is planning on coming here in 2024. We're one of the finalist cities. And isn't it ironic that we're so desirable as a convention site, and yet they want to tear us up?
Yeah. We've
got a rule in the country: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Republican legislature is trying to fix us, even though we're not broken.
Yeah. Listen, I don't like to, to both sides everything, because I think Republicans are better, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, better. Well, I shouldn't say better, but they're more egregious when it comes to this gerrymandering, because Republicans and Democrats both gerrymander when they control the redistricting process. Though the GOP is appearing, as I said, to do it more aggressively. As we have seen in these proposed maps, it shows in Texas and Florida. What would be the fair way to do this, Congressman?
Well, another irony, Don, is that I've carried the legislation in Congress to have neutral and bipartisan redistricting nationwide. I've had that bill for years. And Republicans hate that. Actually, both parties hate it, but you point out something very true. Republicans are better at this gerrymandering. They are ruthless. And there's a guy named John Ryder, who's a national Republican guru for redistricting. He's from Tennessee. And he put it in plain talk. He's quoted in publications saying, hide all the evidence. Don't have any text, no emails. Don't have anything in writing, because then we could prove racial gerrymandering. And it's going to be a lot harder to prove now without any written record.
Congressman Cooper, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Don. You're a good man.
Thank you. So are you.